Hello, hello from Trujillo, Peru, on a very cold night for this part of the world. I think it's time to get these travel videos started. So here I'm going to let you guys know where I am, what I'm doing, and what I've planned for these videos, because my dirty little secret is that I have never stopped recording videos. From Bangkok to Japan to Egypt to Tenerife to Greece, to Albania, to Serbia, to living in Finland, all of these places, and now South America, I never ever stopped recording videos. And I never stopped writing down my thoughts. So I have a lot of content that it's about time to get out there. You know, one of the funny things about traveling is it's a lot of effort. And then actually making videos and uploading those videos and editing them and doing everything for them is a lot of effort. So I stopped a long time ago. But now I've been thinking, how do I want to make these videos going forward? And how do I want to get you guys this content so it's actually fun and interesting? To be honest with you, I have no idea how the hell to do that, but we're gonna try. And oh, this is not exactly very good wine. Peru, you can do better. Peru, you can do better. Vino Tanat? I have no idea. I don't know. It's something new. One of the interesting things about traveling, this is why I love travel, my thoughts about it have changed a lot since I began. Why I started traveling is an interesting story in and of itself, and then now why I still travel is completely different. Traveling adds color to your life. It adds perspective. Whereas you kind of start with a beige canvas, and then the more experiences that you have in life, not just travel, the more color you add to that canvas. Try a new wine, good or bad, you've added color to the canvas. I've just added a nasty color that hopefully won't come out any of the two ends before it's supposed to. Although being down here in Peru, that hasn't really worked out so well. I don't think I've ever had so many stomach issues in my life. Let's see, perspective and experiences. And I've had a lot of those experiences over the almost 10 years that I've now been traveling. It's crazy to think about that. I was never supposed to be traveling for 10 years. This was never supposed to happen. It was never supposed to be my life. And, but it has become my life. And so now I want to show you guys that life, because all too often I find what I'm doing to be normal. Like, of course you can do this and do that and blah, blah, blue, blue. But then I'm realizing when I have to go home for extended periods of time for one reason or another to visit my family and see other people who have normal jobs, it's not normal. And all of the stories that I share with them over drinks, I want to share with you guys. So I'm hopeful that I can find a way to show all of my old travel videos. That's what I want to do. I'm going to give you my old travel videos as well so you can follow my old adventures, and then give you my new travel videos as well so you can follow my current adventure. And then maybe just throw in some evenings where I have some wine, maybe a little bit too much, and I just cover a few topics and rant, which is what I'm pretty good at doing. And just give you guys the lowdown on what it's like in all these places around the world. I mean, my favorite one, I've made videos on this before, is Paris, because I spent so much time there. I wonder, did you guys ever know why I spent so much time there? Now so much time has passed, I can actually tell you a lot of these things. And I think, since I'm pretty sure I'm single right now, I'm not gonna get in any trouble. Oh man, I wish that I had some better wine, but this is what I've got. I figure after another glass it'll taste pretty darn good. The Chilean wines seem to be pretty nice. I'm liking those with the Carmenere grape. Anyway, yeah, the first girl that I dated on my travels was from Paris, so I spent a lot of time there. And anyway, my favorite thing about that is everyone just tells you how wonderful it is when they post their photos online and they talk in a public forum, and then you get people behind closed doors and they're like, oh my god, that's fucking horrible. I got robbed. It smelled awful. It was the most disgusting place ever. Some beautiful buildings, just don't look below 10 meters, like 30 feet, right? Just look up for everything. And don't pay attention to the fact that you got pickpocketed and scammed. I do love that city though. I call it the bitch lover. Watch one of my old videos and you'll see why. I recorded that old video in Slovakia, Bratislava, by the way, the video I'm talking about, and that was very interesting. That was with a lady friend of mine at the time, is why I was staying there. And I made that video while she was out doing her thing, and I was making videos. It's kind of interesting. You know, the older you get more scars and you get more pains in the back and everything. But if you travel a lot, every little thing, like where I told that story, you know, about Paris being a bitch lover, where I made that video, is attached to another story, which is attached to another story, which is attached to another story. There's so many stories to tell and to talk about. I don't know how to do it all, to be honest with you. And when I was making my travel videos in the past, I don't know, I didn't seem to get great reception for them. Or maybe I did, but it took, the people who watched it seemed to enjoy it, I suppose. But it took so much effort to do, and I felt like I was living for somebody else instead of living for myself. And it was just a lot of effort for very little return. I think just talking to you, like a friend across the table, that's something that I could enjoy more. So I'm gonna try to do that format while getting my old videos out. Maybe I can hire someone to help me edit the videos, and then I can like put the video over here and my head in one corner and sort of narrate over it and give you guys the behind the scenes on what's going on. And like you might see some videos of mine from from Zagreb, Croatia, the first time I was there. But I don't think you heard the story of when I was in the hostel. And it's called Hobo Hostel. And my room was empty except for me, and honest to God, I swear he was a hobo, a homeless person. I've never smelled anyone who smelled quite like this before. It was a terrific pain on the nostrils. So those kind of stories, or the fact that I had a back injury due to the beds and all of that jazz, and not working out and everything, and just all the little things next to travel that you never really hear about. Because, you know, the worst part about traveling can actually just be the traveling. Planning it, figuring it out. The flights went up twice before you were able to buy the ticket. 3 credit cards didn't work, a debit card didn't work, and you have to get someone from home to buy the ticket. It can be a real sort of hassle, but it's part of the adventure. It's crazy, basically. Everything is dialed up to 11 for crazy. And then when you live this kind of life for long enough, you don't realize what it's like until you get home. And really what you have to do is to talk to other travelers. You can commiserate with them, right? The people who don't travel don't want to hear you complain. There's a bug in my wine, you little bastard. Maybe it'll make it taste better. Who knows? But there is just so much more that goes on behind the scenes. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just complaining, really. Everyone needs a peer with whom they can commiserate. But there's just a lot of stuff that I want to tell you guys. Like funny things, like people talking in their sleep in the hostels, and there's just so many stories. But that's what I want to do. Now let me bring you back to where I am right now. So COVID was a bit of a bitch, I have to say, bitch and a half, huge bitch. And it stopped the current project, or the project that I was working on at the time, which is building a social network for travelers. And I have now decided to restart that. So after almost 2 years of learning what depression is like, or something, I don't know, just horrible, being isolated in Serbia for 6 months, touching no person for 6 months, having no physical contact with another person for 6 months, yeah, I'm not doing that again, okay? And then spending a year stuck in Albania wasn't as bad. There were other things that happened, but not so bad. So after all of that, I'm now restarting my social network for travelers. That's what I'm doing while I'm traveling right now. So I'm simultaneously working on that, and then working on the thing that actually makes me money, because in a startup it doesn't make you money, and then trying to figure out a way to convey my travels in a good way, as well as having travels and meeting more people and spending time with them, which is what I really love to do. I can't work around anyone or I'm not getting any work done. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I restarted my travels after a jaunt back in the States, and I came to South America. I've never been to South America before. I always had this fear that if I came down here, I'd never make it out alive. Or I'd just never make it out. It doesn't mean I'd die, but I don't know, maybe some woman would take my heart, like some sort of seductress, and I would never make it out. I don't know. So I'd kind of been putting it off, and then when Russia invaded Ukraine, I canceled my plans to go there. I mean, it happened like a day or two before I was supposed to go over, because no Ukrainian thought they were going to be invaded. One sec. And so all of my friends over there said that it was safe, go ahead and come. So I planned for that. That didn't happen, obviously. It did not stay safe. Russia invaded. And so then the next day I said, okay, well, someone said go down to South America and head to the Galapagos. Check it out. I didn't even know where the Galapagos was. It's funny, we're all ignorant of something. Doesn't matter how much you travel. If you've never been to that part of the world, why should you know anything about it? I don't know. I know a lot more now, and that's the fun part. I was so ignorant of so much, and I still am. And so I get to learn so much. It's so exciting to come down here, and they put corn in their ceviche and soups, and then they eat it like the popped corn. I mean, who would have thought that? No one had ever told me that. I met tons of South Americans. There's so much cool stuff I didn't know. So I came down here because of that big thing that happened that shifted my plans. And then after the Galapagos, I said, well, hell, I'm down here. Let me explore some more. So I spent a couple months in Ecuador trying to figure things out and learning how to hike at altitude. So many crazy stories about that. Maybe what I'll do is I'll when I release my travel videos, I'll put a little commentary somewhere else where I can tell you about these things. One of the funniest things about traveling down here, I'm off on so many tangents now. I don't care. I'm gonna finish the wine. One of the funniest conversations, I've never had this traveling in Europe or Southeast Asia, is you talk about bowel movements. You talk about crapping and vomiting more down here than anywhere else. When you're at altitude, you get sick. People tell you about altitude sickness. They don't tell you all the things that happen to you at altitude sickness, like the never-ending feeling of having to crap yourself. And so many nights when we're staying at places over 3,000 meters, I think that's over 11,000 feet or something like that. No, more than that. I don't know. Very high up. And you're hiking at up to 5,000 meters the day before. In the evenings, you'll sit around the table talking with everyone, just be like, yeah, there's no toilet paper in the bathrooms. That's how the conversation will always start, because there's never enough toilet paper. And then you just go on talking about, oh my God, so you felt like you had to crap too? Oh my God, you felt like you had to vomit? Oh my God, you couldn't see straight and you were wobbling? Yeah, I just pretended like I was good because everyone else looked good. I mean, and then all you guys see are these photos of the mountains and these beautiful vistas. You don't see all this funny stuff behind the scenes. And I never expected to have those experiences. And I call them goat people. The people that walk up the mountains really well, goats. So if you ask anyone down here, how difficult is the hike? You have to know if they're a goat or not. Like, are you a goat? Just be straight up honest with me. Are you a goat? Let me look at your calves and your feet, Let me inspect your lungs. Are you altitude adapted? Can you hike for miles and miles and miles without skipping a beat? And yeah, so it was such a fun adventure. Traveling with French people who don't speak English and speak Spanish as badly as I do, and we're communicating with a mix of English, French, and Spanish, and doing that for a couple of weeks at a time until you end up on some sort of monkey refuge, which I swear to God's a monkey farm, and then you meet lots of other crazy people who are all they're like the fanatical type of vegans. And then like a baby monkey dies there and they bury it, like some weird ass pet cemetery ritual thing going on. And then you get a weird rash from the Amazon. Playing Tarzan is difficult. He only wore a loincloth. There's some rashes they didn't show you about in that cartoon. Let me just say that. And the funny thing, I'm making a joke about it, but now it's a permanent scar on my arm. Thank you for the kiss, Amazon. Oh my gosh, I've had so many crazy experiences I never thought I'd have. Swimming with hammerhead sharks, never thought I'd have that. They look really dumb when you see them in person. Silly little creatures. They look like regular sharks that have just crashed into a wall and smashed their face. They look so dumb when you see them. And so you're not scared of them at all. Swimming with penguins, that was amazing. And I mean, one just swimming right in front of my face and chirping for a couple minutes, looking for its mother. It looked like it was amazing, amazing. Other things as well there, but swimming with the penguins, amazing. And yeah, eating guinea pig. That was cool. That was cool. So when I start the travel videos of showing you what I'm doing currently, what I've decided is I'm going to start with me flying to Ecuador, and then I'll catch up to something more recent relatively quickly, because I don't record videos every day, and there's not going to be a schedule, by the way. I'm not going to live and die by some schedule and do all those things you're supposed to do. I want to get my stories out, and I don't always have the energy to do it. Oh, like, gosh, I have to do so much work after this tonight. That sucks. Traveling while working sucks. No, working while traveling sucks. But anyway, I ate guinea pig in south of Ecuador, in Cuenca. That was amazing. They roast it for an hour over like a kind of a barbecue. And then they show you can go and watch it. It looks like a nightmare. It looks so terrifying. It's almost as terrifying as when I ate the rat in the barbecued rat on the side of the street, side of the road, and oh my gosh, what's the name of that place? Why is it's leaving my memory right now. We've got Thailand. Oh my gosh, yeah, I totally forgot the name of that country now. Anyway, it was an amazing experience. And the food, there's so many vegetarians down here, and even a few who've remained vegans, they miss out on so much, because almost all of the food that is cultural, a part of their culture down here, has meat in it, in some form or another. And it's meat broth, chicken broth. You got chicken feet in a soup, even if you don't have any other meat. Just find some chicken feet in the bottom of it after you eat it. You're like, okay, chicken feet. The skin doesn't taste like anything when you eat it, but yeah. The food is just amazing. You've got amazingly good, amazingly bad, amazingly everything in between, just amazingly different. I had the spiciest ceviche I've ever had in my life. Ceviche isn't always sexy, by the way. Just raw fish in like a lime sauce. And if you're not careful down here, if you don't ask about it, you're going to get some sauce that is so hot that not only will it make your lips and tongue numb, but it will leave the body within the hour. So you better not be headed on any tours after that. Sorry, I'm still trying to think of the name of that country. I can't believe it has slipped my mind. I keep wanting to say Colombia, but it's not Colombia, and it's one of the best travel experiences I ever had in my life. That's where I ate the rat, though. It was in a city called Battambang. Let's see if you can figure out what country that's in. So, after Ecuador, I made an interesting little border crossing into Peru. You need to have 3 shots for your COVID vaccine, so make sure you have that, however you get it. And some of the borders, they'll actually give you the 3rd shot on the border if you only have 2. They'll actually just inject you right there. You hope it's the vaccine. And the right one, I guess. I don't know if you can mix them. But one of my friends, I think her boyfriend just had to get the third shot on the border, and they put the photo online. It's crazy. Oh wow. Getting drugs injected into you in foreign countries where you can't speak the language, and they don't have the same checks and balances that are in other countries, is really quite scary. I got my yellow fever vaccine in Quito, Ecuador. That was a scary and interesting experience. Me and the girl I went with to get it, neither one of us speaks very good Spanish, but somehow we managed. And it seems like we got the correct vaccine. But yeah, it doesn't feel good to have someone injecting stuff in you when you can't verify what it is. Oh man. So crossing the border from Cuenca was kind of interesting because the border crossing, I don't know if I should put this in another video or not, but I feel like I'm on a roll. I'm gonna update you guys how I got down here. The border crossing, what you do is you have to take a bus or a taxi into Peru, a couple kilometers, maybe a mile, I don't know, and then you go to an immigration center there where you get stamps. It took 2 hours and 45 minutes for 40 people to go through that. Oh my gosh. Then what you do is you either take a taxi back into Ecuador and then up to another city, and then you cross the border there by foot, which you can do without a stamp, but you have to go all the way down there to get the stamp. Then you go up to that city, then you cross the border by foot, then you can take a bus to where you're headed, which is usually the shithole Mancora. Just a good awful, god-awful beach town. It's only good for parties and drugs. Don't go there for any other reason. It's not relaxing. And then or the other way is when you're at the border, after you get your stamps, you take a taxi to Tumbes, this crazy, chaotic city. Tuk-tuk madness. You get overcharged on the taxi, then you somehow get sent to some sort of minivan place where you take a little van filled with people shoulder to shoulder, and you cross a million speed bumps, and you go from Tumbes to Mancora. Then from Mancora, don't die from sepsis. Try not to fight with too many tuk-tuk drivers. I only almost got into a fight with one, but I'm not paying gringo prices. Learn what the price is. Don't pay more than 3 sols for anything. And the money here is called sols. How cool is that? In Ecuador, they use US dollars. How cool is that? Didn't know any of that before I got to either country. It's such a cool surprise. If you plan too much, nothing surprises you. It's like, that's boring. Stop being so German. Stop being so Bauhaus boring. So I stayed in Mancora, had a good time there. My travel friend got... There's common respect that you should have when you're an adult. Some people don't have it. When I get to Mancora, maybe I'll tell you about that if I remember. Not such a big deal, but it annoyed me, nevertheless. Anyway, we explored Mancora together, had a lot of fun, went surfing for the second time in my life. First time was in San Sebastian, Spain, and it was got hit in the head with the surfboard. It was very difficult. Here it was awesome because they had like little training wheels on the surfboard. I'll explain it when I get there. It was so fun though. The training wheels are people, by the way. And then I get sick there, and I'm sick for about 4 days, like properly sick with some form of cold. Maybe. No one really knows what it is when you get sick anymore. And so stay in the hostel and just sleep like for 4 days nonstop in a party city. It's very difficult. Then I took a bus down to Trujillo. I can't say it. Truj, I think. ILLO. And then I stopped here for 1 week to get some work done before I continued. And sadly, I was unable to meet up with my friend who I really want to meet up with. Just one of the coolest people I've ever met, and only met this person for 1 day. So we'll see how that goes. Because there's some news, breaking news. At the end of this month, something interesting might happen. But anyway, thought I was only coming down here for 1 week. Missed the opportunity to see her. Then, like, you know, in movies when they tell you how sexy it is to do some kind of startup thing, they have all this nice music in the background. The reality of it is missed deadlines, rescheduling, and over budget, stress, hair running away from your head and turning white before it does. So anyway, 1 week turned into 2 weeks. And I'm a little bit stressed with the news I'm going to hear tomorrow. We'll see what's going to happen. But the good news that I got, and this is why I'm going to be leaving Trujillo very soon instead of working, because this city is not the city to stay in, really, is that I might actually be able to see my friend at the end of the month. Wait, is that a spoiler? Anyway, I don't know if it's going to happen yet. We'll see. So my plan from here is to go to a city called Cajamarca, where they have the baths of the Incas. So after I go and do a bunch of tourist stuff here and see the moche culture and get some moche food, which I was supposed to do today, but I was just too hungover from yesterday. And the street food I ate, the cow hearts, I don't know if that helped. And so try and get some moche food for the moche culture. And then there is, I think, the Kaimu culture or the Chimu culture. So I'm going to go and check out the ruins. These are two civilizations that were here before the Incas were, for hundreds and hundreds of years. The only reason everyone knows about the Incas is because Machu Picchu, I guess. That's what most people know about Peru, but there's a ton more stuff here. Like crazy amount of stuff, well preserved. Pyramids all over the place, apparently. So I want to go see those. And then go to the baths in Cajamarca. I think is it the Incan baths, I think? I don't know. And then there's another, then Cajamarca is done. I'm going to go up to Chachapoyas. In Chachapoyas, I'm going to see they have a beautiful waterfall, which apparently I have to see, but they also have the Culep ruins, which I think is a fortress on a hill, and they were there before the Incans. I think it's the Incans, yeah, before the Incans. And the Incans could not get into the fortress. The only way that they could overtake it is by starving everyone inside, so they sieged it. Then after that, I'm going to go to a city called Yurimaguas, something like that, and take a boat ride, a 3-day boat ride to a city called Iquitos. And everyone tells you its claim to fame is that it's the only city that you can't get to by land or something, but you can get to by boat and air. I don't know. There's a sexy way to say that everyone says. It doesn't matter. The point is 3-day boat ride on the Amazon. Well, it's not technically the Amazon River at that point, but it's a river in the Amazon. How about that? And then, since that's apparently a shithole, I'm not going to stay there for very long. I might go to a city called La Lagunas. I might do a little jungle tour again, although I don't know if I want to get kissed by the Amazon again. I've got so many injuries from traveling. I don't know how many more I want. but we'll see. We'll see. I'm probably going to go. Then I'm going to go to a place called Leticia. And part of it is actually in Colombia. So there's a border with Peru, Colombia, and Brazil, and a city right on it. And it seems pretty cool. Like, I'm going to take another long boat ride, and then I'm actually going to be on the Amazon River. And that's my plan for this month. I don't know how I'm going to fit everything in, because I still have to work. And I still need to get the projects assigned for the development team, which is separate from my other work. And then I want to get videos out to you guys. So nothing is going to be timely. I'm sorry. But maybe, since I'm doing this part of my travels pretty much alone, because all the gringos go a different way for the most part, I'll be so lonely. I'll be incentivized to communicate more with you guys. Traveling is long-term is crazy. I just, long-term, first time long-term traveler just went home the other day, and she posted a big long message online about the difference between all the vacations she'd done in her life before and then being a traveler, actually a traveler. It's very different. They're not even in the same realm. It's a different type of existence altogether. Knowing that you're coming home to a home versus having nothing at the end of the road. You're paving the road as you go. I like that. Cheers to paving the road as you go and making your own way. It's a crazy existence, but it certainly adds a lot of color to life. So cheers to that.